Hi everyone, and welcome to week 3 of Digital Web. I'm going to go ahead and take you through all the resources for the week and get you comfortable with the content. So first off is our announcement for the week. As always, you're viewing this through your announcement section that I also email out to you. So this week we just finished up our submissions on wireframes and breakpoints. So I'll be getting those grades and feedback to you hopefully in the next 48 hours. That's what I'm shooting for. This next week is actually a lighter workload, which I'm sure you'll all be thankful for. So we're taking a little bit of a step away from your work and doing some research on CMS systems. Okay, so the discussion this week is diving further into responsive design sites and why it's best for everyone. Give you a few links here that are just my own, so they're not specifically under the lecture content. Okay, so the first thing that I gave you is talking specifically about CMS systems. So what is that? Specifically, it's called Content Management System, and all that is just a way to build your websites. So basically a website builder. So mostly this course is talking specifically about WordPress, but as you know by now, I am not always pro WordPress. There's so many options out there, especially that are easier for more visual people that might not be great at code, and that's totally fine. So I gave you an article from 22. I thought it was really good. It talks about WordPress. Specifically, it starts off with it, talking about where you can download it and da-da-da-da-da, if you haven't already kind of forward looked at some of the modules that talk specifically about installing WordPress. It's very flexible. It's probably one of the largest CMS systems used just because there's so many resources for it. There's custom themes that you can get from Envato. There's all kinds of stuff that you can get that's going to make your workflow easier. So it talks about pros and cons, and as you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of different types. Some of the larger ones for bigger companies like Joomla, Drupal, and then it gets into Wix and Squarespace, some of the smaller ones that I've mentioned, but they've kind of blown up in the past year since this article has been released. Another one that I gave is some new tools that are actually out this year. I'm sure you all know that AI is not going anywhere, so there's actually quite a few things going on in web that make our jobs easier. Modify, you can create images there, give it prompts just by text, and you can work with both bitmap and vector. It just like anything else that's pretty much AI driven, it still needs a lot of language capabilities. So you have to be really specific with what you want. But if you've never tried Firefly or Modify, they're great places to kind of test, where AI is going and how that's going to be helping us out in the future. And that's really by just creating, background images and things that instead of, taking a couple of hours in Photoshop, we might be able to render out in, a 5-minute session trying to play around with AI. There's a couple of things in here that's actually really good too. WorkVeo is a freelance time tracker. That's pretty neat. And Thread, that's one of the relatively new things that came out this year. It's actually using AI to create wireframes. So, again, some of the course content has a little bit of dated material. That's why I'm trying to give you my own resources here. This one's worth checking out. It spits out some pretty interesting things, as far as like what your desktop version might look like and what your, responsive mobile version would look like. All right, so there's a couple of more in there for you. And then I gave you the last one on here is from Website Planet. They do a lot of beta testing and things for softwares and plugins and things like that. So they tested out a lot of the website builders and they gave a specific comparison on how it worked for them. So they start off talking about Wix with their overall score, and talked about why it's the best for them, why specifically you might want to go with them. They do have over 900 templates. It's a really, like I said, between 22 and 23, Wix really blew up. I've used it plenty of times. And they have like, just like Adobe has stock sites and everything that you can purchase, Wix has the same. It's called the App Market. So there, if you end up going that route and you want a lot more customized things, you can also check out the App Market. And you can kind of keep going down and reading the rest of the ones that they tested out. You might find something on here you've never heard of. Squarespace and Wix you've heard me kind of talk about before. But some of the other ones, Webador, and these Ionos, you might not have heard of before. And then there's, of course, one specifically dedicated to e-commerce. So if you're going to end up selling products or shirts or stickers and you don't want to link off to Etsy or link off to maybe your Instagram site, it's something that you can kind of consider as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back to our learning modules. So this week has a lot of readings and videos. So if you go under the reading and resources, that's why the paper's a little bit lighter this week. You can see there's some videos and lots of readings on WordPress. That's why I kind of gave you a little bit more variation to not just be WordPress. You can see our topic for the week is on responsive website design. So you can read through the initial post, what's expected, of course, by Thursday posting, and then you have the rest of the week to give 2 responses to other peers. Okay, so the main assignment for the week is a short paper on content management systems. Again, that's anything from WordPress to Wix to Squarespace to anything that really is going to build a website. So what this specifically is asking for you to look at WordPress. I'm telling you, you can do any CMS system. Okay, so if you don't want to specifically research that, you can do one of the other ones, and I'm totally fine with it. So what you're looking at describing in your paper is, what is a CMS? How does it differ from a website built with static pages, so something with no animation or nothing that resizes in a window, something that looks the same on a phone and a desktop? That would be considered a static page. So I would consider that old web. What are the advantages of creating a website through a CMS platform, and what is WordPress and how does it make a graphic designer's job easier? Again, it doesn't have to be WordPress. It could be whatever CMS system you choose. So pick wisely whatever you choose to dive into this week. Maybe that'll be what the route that you take as we continue to build our portfolios together. Okay, and you can check out the guidelines and rubric there for specifics on how long it has to be and things of that nature. All right, everyone, have a great week, and I'll see you online.